This is Austin with Minerva YGO. We're here with.
Clark Lewis.
What'd you play? What'd you place? And how'd you do?
I played Rikka Sunavalon at the Richmond Regional yesterday, which was April 31st, I think. And I got 6th, top 8. Yeah, it was good.
Good.
All right.
Let's see what you played.
3 loci, 1 twin. You don't play any less than this, or any more. 3 copies of Petal, and then 1 Sunfire, 1 Lone Fire. Lone Fire you need as part of the combo, but you don't really want to draw it. Drawing this card is still pretty good. And you want to play 3 of each of these for the math with Glamour, but I'll talk about that in a minute.
Good to know.
3 copies of Princess. This is like your best card. It is an extender. If I have no plants, or all I control is plants, she special summons herself. And then she's also a negate. She tributes cards as cost and shuffles herself into the deck. People just never read cards and never read these cards, and I guess they just skipped words because everyone was always confused when I was tributing their cards as cost and shuffling this card back into the deck. I had someone try to call by it, and you can't because it goes as cost. Alongside the Princess, you play 1 Primula. You can play, I've seen lists play more than 1 Primula. This has to do with Glamour, but I'll get to Glamour, like I said, in a little bit. Primula is a brick, and you don't really want to draw it, so don't play any more than this. 2 Mudon and 1 Snowdrop. Mudon is definitely your best Rikka card outside of like Princess because she searches your Con-Con, and Con-Con's ridiculous. Although you don't want to see more than, you don't want to see her too much. So usually you only just play the 2 and you search it as part of your combo. So 1 for the get Con-Con and 1 for follow-up. There's also no level 6 plant that you can search alongside this card for Glamour. So that's why you really can't play 1 or more. So that's kind of why you play this. And then Snowdrop. She's crazy. She summons 2, makes all the plants the same level. Because we play the Therion cards now, she has the same level as Lily. So when you activate Glamour, you can search both her and Lily at the same time, which is crazy. Also why we play 2 Lily now, because you're going to search 1 part of your normal combo and Regulus. So then later, if you activate Glamour, you can search the other Lily and Snowdrop, which is ridiculous, I think. For the going second cards, I played 3 Ash, 3 Kaiju, 3 Talents, and 3 Evenly. It's a regional. Kind of just had a wide variety of cards for every single deck I played against. Kaijus are good, Ash is good, Evenly is good, Talents is good into everything, and Talents is great going first as well, so it kind of doubles as going first and going second. So that was kind of that. Some people wondered if I should have played Droll instead of Ash in the main, if I were planning to play against meta decks, but to be honest with you, I thought Ash was fine for a regional. Onto my spells and traps. 3 copies of Unexpected Die. This card is not once per turn, and it just special summons Loci from the deck. If you don't have to commit your normal summon to Loci, your combos get like kind of ridiculous, especially post board. So Unexpected Die plus like any plant ends on like a crazy board plus 2 like a Floodgate plant card. So you want to see this card as much as possible. 2 copies of Sunrise Sowing. This card is also ridiculous because it is your combo enabler. You search it off of your Link 1, and this card basically equates to 3 bodies in combination with Dryas. This is also Almirage in the graveyard, or not Almirage, the Salamangreat Link 1 in the graveyard. Balinks, where you can just, if your cards would be destroyed, your plant cards would be destroyed, you can just banish this instead. People miss words on that, and they try to crash into my plants a lot, and it never worked out. Con-Con and Glamour. I'll start with Con-Con. This card is beyond broken. Once per turn, I can tribute your monsters if I were to activate plant effects or Rikka spell traps. That's ridiculous. And then the other effect lets me set a Rikka spell trap from the deck if I control a Rikka monster. So this card does everything for the deck. It is so good. You want to see this every single time. If you pass on just like the field spell plus like maybe 1 interruption, generally you won't lose. this card is absurd. I played 3 copies of this instead of like 2 in Terraforming because Droll exists in the format, and I didn't really want to Terraforming get this and then get hit with Droll because that sucks. So I don't know, maybe in a future format if Droll isn't as good, I'll go back to 2 and 1. But Rikka Glamour. So I talked about this a lot earlier. This is kind of where like the deck gets interesting because Glamour. This is Rhoda for the deck, but also if I tribute a plant monster, I can search for 2 plants with the same levels but different names, and one has to be a Rikka. So this is important because there are a bunch of pairings that you can do in the deck. Usually, like the 2 level 1s, so that would be Loci and Petal. The level 4s, Primula Princess. The level 8s, Snowdrop and the Therion. Post board, there are other cards we can search for with Glamour, which means that like this card is also a toolbox for potential floodgates and other cards that are useful. So this card's ridiculous, especially because you can tribute your opponent's monster thanks to Con, and then you can search 2 monsters, which is ridiculous. Finally, last couple cards I've played, Therion Coliseum. This is how you search your Regulus when you summon Lily. Called by and cheat. This doesn't need an explanation. And this is like one of the best traps in the game. It's almost Widow Anchor, but if you activate it, you can. If you have Con, you can tribute your opponent's monster and then take their other monster, which is ridiculous.
Sounds good.
For the extra deck, I'll run through this real quick. 3 tree, 2 healer, 1 thrasher. So this is one of the best cards. These cards are all insane, but this is probably the best card in the extra deck because it does so much for your deck. It's not once per turn, and so many times people try to interrupt this card with like Ash or Imperm or something, and then you can just remake it and then still search Sowing and combo, which is ridiculous. It also has 2 other relevant effects. So this card, you have to play 3 of this card. You go through 2 in your normal combo, and otherwise, you know, the extra 1 is just there just in case. So you do need to play this card at 3. It's ridiculous. Healer, again, people miss words on this card. This card is not once per turn. It hits the board, you gain 300 life, and then you get and then it also plays really well with your Aramage Jasmine, which we'll go through later. But during the normal combo, you'll end up gaining like 900 life, or in some combos, you'll gain 2100 life just off of the healers alone, because you'll use healer about 3 different times during your combo. So these are really good. And then the Thrasher, this is new. Loci not only is like a 1 card, like 4 interrupts, 4 bodies. Loci is also a 1 card OTK thanks to Thrasher. And so if you just open Loci and your opponent has a weak board, you can OTK them, which I did frequently. Again, people just miss words on these cards. They just don't know what they do. So yeah, I was very happy with all these cards. I played 2 Jasmine and 1 Dance Peon for my Lynx 2. Jasmine's crazy. It has a bunch of different, it has 3 effects. 1 effect that everyone knows, which is when it tributes card hit points to and summons any plant from the deck. But also, if I gain life, I can search a plant from my deck. And that's why healer is relevant in this deck, because Jasmine is not once per turn for the healing. It's not hard once per turn. So if you make 2 Jasmine and you gain life, you get to search twice, which is crazy. And she's like an integral part of the combo, so playing her at 2 is absolutely mandatory. This is like one of the best cards in the deck as well. Dance Peon, you get to look at the top 3, excavate the top 3. If you hit any plants, you get a special summon up to 2 of them, and then you can modulate their levels, and you can make an XE play off of this, which is crazy. Dance helps you extend a lot of the times. If like you don't have any other play, going into the Link 2 that just maybe lets you see 2 plants for free is really crazy. Play Melius and Bingo Lancer. Melius is a Link 3 that just summons back Loci from the graveyard. It also, you can target a Sun Vine monster, and it can attack equal to the number of Sun Avalon cards on the field. And this is relevant because this is part of the Thrasher OTK, because you'll have like this in the tree on the field. And then you summon back the Loci, make Thrasher. Thrasher goes to 3200 attack, and then Melius lets it attack twice, so that's 64. And then these 2 go into Bengal Lancer, which is a quick effect compulse, and if it goes to the graveyard, you get to banish monsters up to a Link 4. Well, they have to exactly equal 4, and then you can summon him again from the graveyard. He's just really solid, really good card. Plant Link 4. Finally, the XCs, 2 Strenna, 1 Hyperton, and then 1 Teardrop. Strenna is really crazy because not only does she allow you to get follow-up, because she detaches to basically add any card from your deck back to your, from your graveyard back to your hand. But also, if she's tributed, you get to summon one of these and then attach her to it as material. People miss words on this card. If this card gets tributed, it doesn't matter if it goes to the graveyard or if it's banished. It will still summon the Xyz monster from the extract and attach herself to it as material, which is why like cards like Shifter and Arise Heart aren't really that crazy against you, because you can just still make these cards if this card gets tributed. And then as for the actual XYZs, she is a quick effect tribute on your opponent's turn, on either player's turn. You can just tribute a card or a monster, and then she gains 200 attack every single time a card is tributed. Really good spot removal, also helps you push. Hyperton or Hyperiton is an Omni Negate, but you have to detach one of the same type. So if someone activates a monster effect and you detach a monster, you can negate the monster. And so on and so forth. Both these cards are crazy. They have different uses. Going first, sometimes you'll go through 2 Strenna, and just so that way you can end on like a Strenna plus Hyperton. And if you get Dark Rulered, you can tribute the Strenna on your opponent's turn to summon Princess, so you have multiple negates or multiple interruptions through Dark Ruler, which is great. In the future, there's a world in which I play 3 Strenna again, because this card's just so crazy. But I think right now I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Lastly, my side. So I played these 2 plants. I'll go through them. So this says your opponent can't activate more than 1 spell trap per turn. With your normal combo, you can end on this card plus your board. So if your opponent activates any spell trap, you negate it with Regulus, and Regulus negates effects, so then they can't activate any more spell traps for the rest of the turn, which is crazy. It's a great floodgate going first. Spider Orchid. This card is a good pairing with Glamour because it's a level 1 plant, so you can search your Rikka Petal and this card off of Glamour, which is crazy. And then its Pendulum effect is you can scale it and then destroy spell trap your opponent controls. This deck has a hard time beating cards like Birth, like the Castura Birth, and the Fountain, the Runic Fountain, I think. So this card, being able to just destroy those cards in like a situation where you absolutely need to, is like really good. I sided both these in a couple times. I summoned this a couple times. I actually never searched this, but it was nice knowing I had the option, I guess. I played 3 Drolls.
How was it?
Very good. Droll's one of the best cards in this format. It'll be even better next format. A lot of times, if Ash wasn't crazy, I would just take Ash out and put Droll in. But I was really happy to still main Ash.
How was this against your deck?
Droll isn't great. Well, I guess it depends on the hand. If you open Loci plus like field spells, so like Loci plus Con, Droll doesn't do anything. It really just depends on the hand. I think Droll is fine, but really, like versus Rikka, you want multiple effects to shut them down.
Okay.
Still, I think next format everyone's gonna be playing Droll anyway, so you'll see it. And then I played 3 Thrust and a couple one-ofs. So my game plan after board was siding into Thrust, and then whatever cards I kind of needed depending on the situation. So like for these cards, I sided these pretty frequent. I've sided like these 5 a lot going second, and then I'll just take out, trim some engine or something. So that way like Thrust can find whatever I need, obviously, because Thrust is a crazy card, especially going second. And I put the Harpies in here also just in case like I played versus a trap deck, but I didn't really play any against a trap deck, so I'd actually never use this. But these all came up. And also putting in Imperm just going second, I mean, it's a one-of, but if you draw it like going second, you can use it. It's not bad. I was very happy with this. I also played a lot of going second, like hard going second cards in my deck, like in my main deck. So if I was going first, I'd bring the Thrusts in and keep the Talents in, and then I would side these cards. So I sided 1 copy of Pointer and then 3 copies of Spiritual Water Art Aoi. Basically, this card is Trap Dust Shoot. If I tribute a water monster, I can look at my opponent's hand and discard a card. It's basically a pointer, but I just have to tribute a card instead of paying life points. And so every single Rikka card is a water. And also, if you paid attention to what I said earlier, if I tribute Strenna will, summon herself back from the graveyard and put an XYZ over top of her. So the game plan is like, if I have Strenna, just activate Aoi, tribute Strenna, look at my opponent's hand, discard a card, on resolution, summon her, and then just make whatever rank, whatever big XYZ I want. These cards were ridiculous. If my opponent ever hand trapped me, I could just thrust into finding one of these, whichever one I didn't have. I actually had a game where my opponent hand trapped me, and I talents looked at their hand, and then thrust set this, and I already hard drew this, so I ended on my regular board with 2 negates. Plus, I was ripping their hand, so they went down to 2 cards. Versus my whole board. Needless to say, they lost. So I would not change my extra deck or my side deck at all. I thought like the thrust package plus like the one-ofs were crazy, and I would absolutely play this again. But yeah, that's what I played.
All right. Any shout-outs?
Shout outs to Aaron Moy for letting me borrow his Owies, because no one else owns this card in the world except for him. Otherwise, shout outs to Richmond, YGO, I guess. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Bye.